Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Gone Rogue. And in this episode of Gone Rogue, we are going to talk about mental health. That is right. In this episode of Gone Rogue, we are going to talk about mental health and how we need to approach mental health, whether it's yourself or being with others. So one of many reasons that I want to do a topic about mental health on the episode of Gone Rogue is that mental health is the least talked about and the least being discussed. And I think it's the byproduct of the pandemic that is going on right now. And people who last year, who were mostly at home, don't have the ability to socialize, being with others, unlike 2021. It really creates a mental health issues and the thing that, if you were watching the current events, USA gymnastic Olympian Simone Biles is addressing her own mental health issues and setting an example of how we need to approach mental health. So if you haven't been watching the Olympics or knowing the news about the Olympics that are going on right now, as Simone Biles have had to opt out in one of her competitions to care for herself, and the reaction from that news, it is 50-50, and it's unfortunate that the other 50 has a huge dislike towards her approach to mental health. And let me tell you this, I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan, and I love his approach to the game and his Mamba mentality. And let me tell you this, not everyone can be Kobe. Even though they preach the Mamba mentality, not everyone can be that Kobe. And what I'm saying is that people who are criticizing her approach to mental health are the same people that say, why didn't she get help before this? Let me say that again. The people who criticize her approach on mental health are the same people that criticize people who have committed suicide. Let me say this again. The people who criticize Simone Biles on her mental health approach are the same people that criticize people who have already committed suicide, saying that why didn't he or she get help, or saying that suicide is an easy way out. It's so easy to assume that when we should be focusing on the cause, really. And I really hate people who try to compare Simone Biles to Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, or other GOATs. And if you follow her on social media, she's been posting videos on how her mental health has affected her ability to perform these stunts in gymnastics. And in my opinion, she did the right thing. Taking care about herself. And she the first time that she withdrew from competition was for for the good of the team. Seriously, this is something that you can't compare gymnastics to, like the game of basketball, football, or hockey. It's different. She withdrew for the good of the team, and eventually that team won silver. And it is actually a blessing in disguise for those gymnasts who are now making a name for themselves, such as Sumi Lee, who won gold, and other gymnasts. And I really don't follow gymnastics. But shout out to Simone Biles for taking an approach to her mental health. And we need to discuss mental health as a serious issue. And before I move on to the next thing, I really find it funny that people compare mental health to physical health. People who try to compare Simone Biles withdrawing from competition, comparing that to Michael Jordan's flu game. Those two or compare Simone Biles' mental health to Kobe Bryant, who ruptured his Achilles. Those three, the Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan are physical health. The mental health should be treated at a different spectrum and should be treated as serious as physical health. And we need to have a conversation and change the dialogue on how we approach mental health in this country and across the world. And I'm not talking about sports in general. I'm talking about everyday life that we see in everyday society. Homelessness that you see, that we are seeing right now, is from mental health. We have to address mental health first before we can take care of the homeless crisis right now that is going on in this country. And people can say, oh, send them to shelters or help them get a job. We need to address mental health issues first, because that is the most important thing for one that need to be mentally capable first of trying to figure out what path that they need to take to get out of homelessness. We need to address that issue instead of temporary solutions that will be a cycle, such as moving homeless camps to temporary housing, when we need to address mental health issues first. And of course we need to provide shelter, but really, in my personal opinion, we need to address mental health issues first before we can do anything other else. And we need to have a conversation and make mental health a norm of being discussed about, so people can seek the help that they can get and receive. And we need to and for ourselves, we need to recognize our own mental health issues and accept the fact that we do deal with mental health issues, and it's not a form of weakness. And at the end of the day, we are all human beings. So that's all I want to say for this episode of Gone Rogue. Hopefully this episode creates that awareness and action that we need to address mental health issues. So that's about it for this episode of Gone Rogue. If you like this video, please give this video a huge thumbs up. Comment in the comment section below what you think about this video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure to check out my other YouTube content that is on this channel. And thank you for watching Gone Rogue, and I will see you on the next one.